everyone, my name is Vijaya Vasundhara and I'm back with your English lesson. Before beginning today's video lesson, let me remind you that you have to like this video, subscribe to my channel and share this video lesson with your friends and classmates. The topic that we finished last week is conjunctions. And in this video, we are going to discuss in brief what conjunctions are and the exercises that were given in the book. Okay, so let's begin. Let's begin with the most basic question. What is a conjunction? A conjunction is a word which is used to join two words, two phrases or two sentences together. So basically, they are connecting words or joining words. There are three kinds of conjunctions: coordinating conjunctions, subordinating conjunctions, and correlative conjunctions. Let's discuss these one by one. The first kind is coordinating conjunctions. So what are they? They help to connect two independent clauses which are grammatically equal. Wait a minute. Independent clauses, what are they? We don't know what clauses are. Oh. So before beginning coordinating conjunctions, we must discuss clauses. Okay. Clauses are a group of words that contain a subject and a verb. But if they contain a subject and a verb, then why don't we call them a sentence? Right? They should be called a sentence instead of clauses. Right? Why clauses and not sentence? Let's see. It's because sentences are a group of words that make complete sense. And sometimes clauses don't make complete sense. That means they don't complete a thought. They are just part of a sentence. Let's see how it works. There are two types of clauses: independent clause and dependent clause. Now, as the name suggests, independent clause, they are independent. They can stand on their own as a sentence, like a simple sentence. For example, I like dark chocolate or I don't like milk chocolate. They are simple sentences. And dependent clause, as the name suggests, they depend on the other part of the sentence to make it complete, to make the thought complete. It has a subject and a verb but cannot be used as a complete sentence. It is only part of a sentence, not a complete thought. For example, when I grow up. Now look at this. Here we have a subject I and a verb grow, right? But the thought is incomplete. It doesn't make a complete sense. When I grow up. What is the sense here? None. So, in order to complete this sentence, we add another part of sentence in this one. I want to be a dancer. Now, the sentence is complete and it makes complete sense. When I grow up, I want to be a dancer. So, these are dependent and independent clauses. Now, let's move back to conjunctions. So, coordinating conjunctions help to connect two independent clauses which are grammatically equal. That means two complete simple sentences. They connect two complete simple sentences. There are 7 coordinating conjunctions that we can remember using a simple acronym FANBOYS. F stands for, A and, N or, B but, O or, Y yet, and S so. These are 7 coordinating conjunctions. Now this chart tells us about the uses of the 7 coordinating conjunctions. Let's see. And is used to add information. For example, I got dressed and left for school. Right? We have one part of the information, I got dressed, and now we are adding information that I left for school. So to add that information, I will use and here. But offers a contrast. I wanted to go to the beach, but she wanted to go to the hills. We are talking about two different things. Contrast, so use a but here. Or is used to present a choice, an alternative or a choice. You can have an ice cream or a brownie. For is used as because to explain reason or purpose. I'll be late today for I am working late. Now or gives choices and nor removes choices. So nor removes choices or alternatives. Gayatri does not like the mountains nor the beach. Yet introduces a contrasting idea. Hardeep worked hard, yet he could not clear the exam. Two contrasting ideas. So is used as a result. It was raining, so we stayed indoors. What was the reason we stayed indoors? It was raining, and what was the result of that raining? We stayed indoors. The next conjunction is subordinating conjunctions. They help connect clauses of unequal importance, one independent and one dependent clause. The first one, the coordinating ones, they connected two independent clauses, that means two complete simple sentences. Here one dependent, that means one incomplete sentence, and one complete simple sentence are connected using subordinating conjunctions. There are many subordinating conjunctions, and here is a chart presenting uses of some of them. Before is used to express time. Switch off the lights before you leave. After is used to express time as well. I'll check your essay after I have completed the story. Until, to express time again. Wait until I come back. Since is used for two purposes. Since is used to express time. It's been 5 months since we last met. Or to express cause or reason. Any contact with him is not possible since he doesn't live here now. Next one is as. As is used to express cause or reason. She may not climb the stairs as she is old. So that is used to express purpose or goal. What is the goal of some action? He works hard so that he may pass. What was his goal for working hard? To pass. Lest is used to express result in a negative sense. He works hard lest he should fail. Result is negative, right? So lest is used here. That is used to express result as well. He is so weak that he cannot walk. If is used to express condition. If you contest the election, you will win. What is the condition to win the election? It is to contest the election, right? You must contest to win. Next one is unless. It is also used to express condition. You won't pass unless you study sincerely. Next one is though, to express contrast. Though he is rich, he is humble. When, to express time. They were sleeping when I reached there. The next one is wherever, to express place. The puppy follows me wherever I go. So he's saying that no matter which place I go, the puppy follows me. The next one is therefore. Therefore is also used to express condition. He had a fever, therefore he did not go to school. In case is used to express probability. What may happen, right? Take your umbrella in case it rains. It is saying that take your umbrella, it may rain, right? In case it rains. The third and last kind of conjunctions is correlative conjunction. Now they are pair of words. They always come in pairs, right? That always connect two elements that are grammatically similar. Now it means that they link noun to noun, adjective to adjective, and phrases to phrases. Let's take a look at this example. Rihanna is both intelligent and beautiful. Now a pair is used here, correlative conjunctions, both and they are connecting intelligent and beautiful, right? Intelligent, beautiful, both are what? Adjectives. The correlative conjunctions that are commonly used are both and, either or, neither nor, not only but also, whether or, and no sooner than. It would become clearer once we discuss the given book exercises. Okay, so let's see the book exercises related to conjunctions. So I'll discuss some of the questions and rest you can do on your own. Okay, so the question is fill in the blanks with suitable subordinating conjunctions, right? Let's see first one. He left dash the match was over, right? What would come here? Something to express time, right? He left before the match was over. Number 2, they don't know us dash we have never met. They don't know us because we have never met. Number 4, tie a scarf around your neck dash you leave the house in such a cold weather. Before you leave the house in such a cold weather, right? Tie a scarf around your neck before you leave the house in such cold weather. Number 3, you have to do on your own. Try it. Number 5, I thought twice dash replying to her letter. I thought twice before replying to her letter. I have taken care of the child since it was born, right? Let's see number 9. Dash he slips, he'll get injured. If he slips, he'll get injured. They won't mend their ways unless strict discipline is imposed. Number 13. Though the plane crashed, no one was hurt. Though would be filled in here. We eat so that we may survive. Number 14. Now I hope that you would be able to do the rest of the questions on your own. Let's move on to the other exercise. So join the sentence of each pair using a subordinate conjunction. Number 1. You are right, I'll help you. You are right, therefore I'll help you. Number 2. I scored well, he scored better. Though I scored well, he scored better. Number 3. We ate because we were hungry. Number 8. You want to succeed, work hard. If you want to succeed, work hard. I study seriously, I want to get a first division. I study seriously because I want to get a first division. Number 13. He was hungry. He made some sandwiches for himself. He was hungry, therefore he made some sandwiches for himself. Number 15. The Chinese built the Great Wall. They wanted to keep out their enemies. The Chinese built the Great Wall because they wanted to keep out their enemies. Now I hope you will be able to do the rest of the questions on your own. The next is exercise. Fill in the blanks with suitable correlative conjunctions. You should dash stuff these letters into envelopes, dash post them. You should not only stuff these letters into envelopes, but also post them. The sweater is neither loose nor has stretched. Or you can also write not only loose but also has stretched. Both are correct. She is both stressed and worried. Number 4. I'll either tell you a story or read you a poem. Number 5. I have to decide whether to stay at home or go to the party. Number 6. He is either sad or pretending to be sad. The streets are not only very narrow but also littered with rubbish. Number 8. The food is neither appetizing nor healthy. Number 9. Not only keep out of mischief but also leave the hall. Or you can write either keep out of mischief or leave the hall. Both are correct. No sooner had I finished watering the garden than it started raining. Number 10. Number 11. The boy is neither intelligent nor hardworking. Now, the last one. I do not know whether they will come today or tomorrow. So, these were the exercises of conjunctions. You will find the notes of this video and assignments in the description box. The next topic that we are going to discuss today is prepositions. So let's discuss prepositions in brief. So, what is a preposition? A preposition is a word that shows a relationship between a noun or a pronoun and some other word in the sentence. Preposition often describes the position of something, the time when something happens, or the way in which something is done. A preposition is always placed before a noun or a pronoun, and therefore it is called preposition. There are three kinds of prepositions: prepositions of time, prepositions of place, and prepositions of directions. So let's discuss these one by one and understand what are they. Preposition of time. These prepositions are used to indicate the time of an action. That means when something happened. The prepositions at, in, since, for, during, and on can be used as prepositions of time. See these examples. My school reopens in July. The time of opening in July. I have been waiting for him for 2 hours. Bears hibernate during winter. When? During winter. Some more examples are: I wake up at 6 o'clock every day, where at is the preposition. I have lived in Mayur Vihar since 2010. 2010. You must finish this assignment within 10 days. Let's take a look at this exercise. This will help us understand it better. Exercise B given on page number 103. Fill in the blanks with the correct prepositions of time. The teachers have a meeting dash 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. At. The restaurant closes at midnight. In India, it usually rains dash July. It usually rains in July. My school will resume on Wednesday. Number 5. Where will you be on New Year's Eve? Ankita's birthday is on Teacher's Day. Now I hope that you will be able to do the rest of exercise on your own. The second kind of preposition is prepositions of place. Now they indicate the place where something is located. The prepositions at, between, behind, under, over, near, opposite, among, next to, by, and on can be used as prepositions of place. Here, look at these examples. I keep the keys in the top drawer, right? Which place? In the top drawer. Ravi's school is near his home. Where? Near his home. Some more examples could be: there is a beehive on this tree. Where? On this tree. Put this among the other presents. The cat jumped over the fence. Your shoes are under the bed. Where the shoes are? Under the bed. Right? My hometown lies between Roorkee and Haridwar. Where? Between Roorkee and Haridwar. Now let's take a look at this exercise to understand it better. Page number 104 of your book. Exercise C. Fill in the blanks with suitable prepositions. Number 1. Rahul is waiting for you dash the bus stop. Right? Rahul is waiting for you at the bus stop. The police commissioner lives at the end of the street. Number 4. The author's name is on the cover of the book. Number 6. You are standing dash my foot, on my foot. Number 7. I live on the 7th floor at 21st Park Street in Kolkata. Now, why I used on, at, and in for 3 different places? Now, if you know the answer, you can reply in the comment boxes. I hope you remember. Alright, now we have discussed some of the questions of this exercise, and I hope rest of it you can do on your own. The last kind of preposition is prepositions of direction. Now, they indicate direction of something. The prepositions like to, over, up, down, up to, across, along, around, under, into, onto, right, left, through, towards, and off, that talks about direction, are prepositions of direction. Here are some examples. We took a ferry to go across the river. Which direction? Across the river. The train went through the tunnel. The diver jumped into the pool. Some more examples could be I go to school every day. We are going over a bridge. They walked along the beach. We drove around the city for 2 hours. The cat jumped onto the sofa. So these were the kinds of prepositions. So now that we know about the kinds of prepositions, let's learn about a few rules that we need to understand how prepositions are placed in a sentence. First one, this one we already know. A preposition is usually followed by a noun or a pronoun. Here are some examples. The pen is on the desk. Now, it is followed by a noun, the desk, right? She works in New York. Again, noun, New York. I have been waiting for him. Here, it is followed by a pronoun, him. Number 2. Now, usually, preposition is placed before the object, like we saw in the previous examples. However, sometimes it is placed after the object to form questions. See the examples here. What game are you interested in? Now, in is used at the end here to form question. What are you looking at? Who was the principal complaining about? The third position. When the object of a preposition is used as the subject, the preposition is placed at the end of the sentence. Now, in a sentence, if the object is used as the subject, the preposition would be placed at the end. Here are some examples. The sky was too bright to look at. Faith is what we live by. So, what did we learn here? We learned that prepositions can be used at the end of a sentence in 2 conditions. First, if we have to frame a question, right? So then it would be placed in the end, or if the object of the preposition is used as the subject, then also preposition is placed at the end of the sentence. So students, that was it for today, and the notes of this video for both conjunctions and preposition and assignments you can find in the description box. And I hope this video helped in understanding these 2 concepts better. I'll see you again in the next video. Till then, take care of yourselves. Bye.